United Nations Economic and Social Survey of Asia and Pacific 2017 was held in Colombo this morning. Governor of the Central Bank, Indrajit Kumaraswamy, emphasized the importance of better governance and effective fiscal management. In his assessment of the current government's fiscal policies, the governor was highly critical of the government's handling of foreign reserves and the economy.
We artificially loosen policy and create a sugar high in growth because we are constantly looking for growth, not sustained growth through investment, but through, as I said, artificially either pumping money in through the budget, keeping interest rates artificially low, keeping the exchange rate overvalued so that you can suck in imports and create economic activity. All that you can do for a year or two, and then you have a crunch, a balance of payments problem, inflation picks up. And if you look at our last 30, 40 years since the liberalization of the economy, you see this happening again and again. Under the present regime, they spent $2 billion worth of reserves, borrowed reserves largely, and then had to depreciate the currency by 10% as well. So clearly that's really not, it's a double whammy. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's one thing to spend your reserves if you can actually defend the currency. But if you waste your reserves and then have to depreciate the currency anyway, clearly that's a no-brainer. You don't do that. So we do not want to do that.
The governor turned his attention to the government expenditure.
We have one of the most regressive tax systems in the world. So the adjustment is mainly going to come from the revenue side as far as reducing the fiscal deficit is concerned. So you may well ask, what about expenditure? Why aren't we focusing on reducing expenditure? Our expenditure, total expenditure, comes out at about 20% of GDP. But there are issues in relation to the composition and quality of public expenditure. Are we spending money in the areas we should be spending money on? And the money that is allocated, is it being spent effectively